is Joey Buddy 96, and I'm continuing to demonstrate a technique used in a Maya course from UAT. We'll look again at our composite photograph. I wanted to show you something, a weakness of the GIMP that you want to be aware of. When you're healing areas that are very dark, for example, as you can see over here, this is very obvious that parts have been cloned from it, and let's say we want to heal that. We'll select the healing brush, control click, and start working on that, and you'll notice something very strange about this tool. It does a bizarre Technicolor distortion of what's there. So you just want to be careful when you are healing stuff with that. And with the clone tool, you can kind of reduce that and reduce the visibility of these by selecting the clone tool, reducing the opacity of it, and control click, and just kind of making the areas blend together better. Alright, so we've had enough of our thing here. I don't know why they call it car face. Let's call it car face.jpg. Export it. High quality. Actually, we want to put this somewhere other than downloads. Let's put it in pictures, in our face pics. Save, export, super high quality, save. Alright. Then we go to our head over here. And let's start a new project. We've got our model all set up. Now, before you even start creating your composite photo, you'll want to make sure your model matches, your 3D model matches your live subject's face a lot better. This is a cartoon head, and it's meant only to be a starter. For this project, though, we'll just leave it like it is. Before we start in on the UV texturing and stuff, I want to point out several things to you. There are parts in this head that turn in on themselves and will kind of wreck up your UVs. You want to be aware that they're there. You don't have to get rid of them in your model, but you've got to UV texture around them very carefully. So let's start a new project so we've got a clean slate. We'll call this YouTube head thing. Use defaults, accept, file, save scene as Heady the head 1. Okay. Let's put the head on its own layer. Oh yeah, that's right. I've got it to display no wireframes on it, and you'll see why in a minute. But it actually is selected right there. Go to channels, layers, create layer from selected, rename it head, and we don't want these eyes to show up, so let's put them on their own layer. And that didn't work. Oh, okay. Let's try this again. Shift, click. Ah, there we go. Alright, so now the head's selected. Let's go to... Actually, we got to assign a blend to this first. So let's... Actually, no, we've got a blend already on this one. Go to Rendering Editors, Hypershade. And we can tell which one has a spot for a file. And that's the one that we want, because it'll be black. Click the input and output connections, and this is one that we want. We're going to put our file in there. And remember where we put it? We put it in Pictures, Face Pics. That's our face right there that we want. Alright, and you see it's automatically put it into the UV texture editor. High quality rendering, turn the textures on, and immediately we'll be able to see this extremely freaky, bizarrely distorted, not right at all thing. Alright, so let's start to make it right. We go to Window, UV Texture Editor, Control RMB out. Let's make it display our picture there. Ah, there we go. We had to click on the model. So this technique is actually going to alter the UVs rather than the picture itself. Let's start by RMB UV. Select a shell. That should select everything. Just select the shell, it's not that hard. Just select the shell. Now it's selected all of the UVs. Let's go to Polygon, click the box next to Normalize, and we want to preserve the aspect ratio of this so it's not distorting the UVs any worse than they already are. And hit Apply. These UVs were created with a spherical projection. Let's hit Close. And it's looking less freakish already. What we're going to do is a very long and slow and tedious process. Let's start by making sure that the features roughly align to the way that they are on a head. As you can see, the borders on this, on the back of the head, don't line up. So we can at least start by stretching them out. Now you can barely see that there's a seam there. And now you'll know why we did that seamless offset at the start of the project. That looks almost perfect, because they're actually wrapping around each other and going around the other side. And things get a little strange at the top of the head, and that's because we've got this one point and there's really nowhere for the texture to go. So when you're creating a model, make sure you've got a whole lot denser vertices at the top there, and especially with your projection. Now we want to start to line the features up, and we'll do this piece by piece. This whole thing is symmetrical, so we can take advantage of that. And actually, you should probably be selecting all of the features at once, because they're just about all equally messed up. And there are some major tools that you're going to be using with this. So let's tear off the menu. We click Polygons, click it, and that tears it off. The main ones that I've been using are Unfold and relax. And also just editing the individual UVs with scale, the lasso tool, the select tool, and the move tool. So that one, that one, that one, and that one. You can also pick the UVs on the head model itself. So what we want to do is make sure that we have no UVs crossing over each other, because what that means is you get a point like up here and it'll wrap all the way around and it'll start taking it from a previous spot. So what that'll cause is a line, and you can't really see that because this picture is such low resolution. But you can correct that by saying unfold, and what that'll do is it'll make it so they're not crossing over each other. So click unfold, and now there aren't any of those UVs crossing over each other. They're back in their normal place. So now we'll go piece by piece through each feature and make sure that they're lined up with the picture. And we're not actually going to complete any of this, but we're going to show you how you could complete it, because this actually takes hours and hours of very boring labor. Alright. The relax tool makes them so they're more evenly distributed, and you can see the different parts of this. I put pin and selected UVs, pin UV border, uniform, and max iterations to 1. And that'll just give you the most amount of control over this. And whenever you've got a bunch of UVs crossing over, just hit the unfold button and relax. And that'll keep it from having a whole lot of crossovers to it. You should always be looking at your model to see which UVs you're selecting. For example, we want the eyebrow UV selected to only be on the eyebrow of our photo reference. We've got a whole bunch of UVs that are part of the forehead that are actually in the eyebrow area. So we'll move these up so they're on the corresponding photo spot where they're supposed to be. The ears are extremely complex because their model is very complex. And let's go over here. It has a ton of UVs, and so it's really hard to position these correctly. And we're running out of time on the YouTube video, but you can see that roughly this is how you execute this process. And I think it's, what is it called, the cochlea on the inside of the ear is going to present a few challenges because those UVs are going to be selected too, and you don't really have to worry about it because they're not visible. So when you're done, you should have something that looks a little like this, where all the UVs are positioned on the photo, and they all kind of line up. On the next one, we'll show you how to do some procedural textures. This has been all non-procedural stuff because it's based on an image, and none of it's hand-painted. So, I'll see you in the next video.